The agent that changed lives is kind of what I'm naming him as. Misko, the famous agent of all the Balkans on Illinois' basketball team, the Illinois basketball team that is now making their way to the Final Four. Misko also an agent of Jake Davis now, so he's working his way. He's got a lot of clients on Illinois basketball team, and there was a great article from Daniel Roberts at Read Dan Wright. I believe it was behalf on Front Office Sports, and it had a quote in there from Misko saying, "Not even one of my guys did a visit. Why would they? Why should they visit? To see what the campus looks like? To see what the locker room looks like? That isn't important. If the basketball situation is good, you go." Really putting a lot of things into perspective there. It was funny. I follow Skins Hoops 86, a really good follow on Twitter, and he basically said something along the lines of Misko said, "All you need is the Carfax report. U.S. players don't got that. They go on a visit, world tour, and transfer." So no photo shoots for these Balkan guys. They basically kind of just bought into Brad's style, had a Zoom, probably talked to them in general, and made their way over to Illinois. And now things have worked out really good. What do you take from this Misko comment? I kind of want to lock in on this one. None of my guys did a visit. Why should they visit? To see what the campus looks like, to see what the locker room looks like. That isn't important. If the basketball situation is good, you go.
Speaks to certainly the professional nature, I think, of bringing in the European basketball players. And I think that there are some real benefits to that. I mean, I think that while you've had the entertainment and the drama of the Housewives of Champagne this year, I think there's been the professionalism in the locker room to not let it go off the rails and not let it distract this team in a negative way. And really, it's kind of turned into using it for good rather than kind of letting it derail your season, like we've seen, I think, in the past for Illinois. And also, can Misko be my agent?
Would love for Isco to be my agent.
Like how do I sign up for that? How do I get in contact? I would love for Misko to be my agent. I don't need to visit anywhere. I don't need to visit any offices. I trust Misko. He's got me.
Yeah, Misko's got me as well. Look, I think he does make some good points, right? Like, when you look at going to play basketball, right? Like the playing style is what is most important. Now, people do have other needs, right? Money, I'm sure was discussed in this. But also like you want to be playing in front of people. You want to play on big stages. You want to play, in filled arenas. You want to play at places that have nice facilities. You want amenities with what you're doing here, which maybe you can convey that without taking a visit. But I think a big part of a visit is like being around the team, being what's going on. Do you think he's kind of underselling like that kind of aspect of it? Because I feel like that's not being talked about enough. Like the fact that you know, want to know who your teammates are going to be and like be around them, see what it's like to be around them before you actually go there, more so than just like visiting to see the campus.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there's a little bit of underselling there just because it is important to kind of, figure out who you want to play with and things like that. I think the thing I would say though is in large part, half the time you don't know who's going to be on the roster when you commit. I mean, a lot of these European guys are committing before the transfer portal really gets going. And so half the guys on the current roster probably aren't going to be there next year when you're there. And so it's hard to really get a great feel for the basketball. And I think to some extent Illinois has also developed such a reputation overseas. I mean, you don't almost don't need to visit Illinois as a European player because you know that Illinois specifically has a great environment, has an awesome college town, has a great fan base, has a great coaching staff that has a history of developing European players. You talk to the other European players, I mean, you kind of hear about those things, especially through Misko. Like you trust, well, three or four guys that are Misko clients are having success at Illinois. Why can't I? Like I don't need to go confirm it because it's already been confirmed for me. And so I think to some extent it speaks to kind of the reputation that Illinois has done and how good of a job Illinois has done building a reputation for themselves over there.
Yeah, and look, I think that even with everything I said about being around the team, meeting people, there is a lot to be said about like if you want to make it to the next level and you want to be successful, the most important thing is basketball. Like, honestly, that's what I took away from this with Misko is that like everything about it, it should boil down to basketball. Like, yes, how much are you getting paid? Yes, how much are you doing? What's the playing style? Can I be good in that playing style? And credit to a lot of guys that are playing this that are Misko's clients with Illinois. They are playing a style of basketball that's conducive to what they do. Like it is the number one offense in the country, and Tyler Underwood does great stuff, and Brad in general does great stuff with that team. So I mean, look, I think it all makes sense to me the way I see it. It makes a lot of sense. There was another little fun tidbit in here about another Misko client, Luka Bogovac, the North Carolina guy. He's like, yeah, all he knew is that North Carolina, like Michael Jordan played there. That's it. He never took a visit, never did anything. So look, I think it speaks to the brand you need to have. And I guess last thing I'll ask you, Jay Hart, do you think this could, I mean, obviously the success of the Europeans you think would lead to more Europeans for Illinois moving forward, but like now it's the fact that they can legit like recruit people that don't come on campus and be like, look, Merck loved it, Big T and them loved it. I think you will too, and they're European. So do you think that's going to be a tactic moving forward to get more European guys or more international guys on campus?
Oh, 1,000,000%. And I think it'll work. I mean, I think you see like a certain loyalty almost from European guys to following programs that have a history of producing them. And so it's almost harder to me to break into Europe than it is to break into any pipeline in the US just because of how close knit I think that community over there is in the basketball side of things. And those guys all talk. They all know what the best programs are for European guys and who has the most history of developing European guys. And that holds a lot of weight because those guys all want to get to the NBA and they all want to be professional basketball players, even more so than what you would consider a college basketball player or even like a lower level European player. They want to get to the NBA. They want to get to the highest level. And why not? Why would you not go to one of the few programs that have proven to be able to get you there?
Yeah, facts. So, hey, good for Misko, good for Illinois. I'm sure there'll be more Balkan experience, more European experience that will make their way over to Illinois. But just a really funny story the way Misko approaches it. And Uncle Misko is moving different. I call him Uncle Misko. He's moving different, and I don't think he's going anywhere. His power knows no bounds. So shout out to Misko. We'll be watching.